Welcome to the Milk Bottle Labs Shopify e-commerce podcast, brought to you by Milk Bottle Labs, officially Ireland's top-rated Shopify experts. Milk Bottle Labs build, upgrade and market Shopify stores all over the world. If you're not happy with your current platform, Milk Bottle will migrate your online business to the Shopify and Shopify Plus platforms with zero interruption. This podcast is supported by Rewind.io, the leading backup solution for your Shopify store, available in the Shopify App Store. Thanks for listening. Now over to your host, Keith Matthews.
Hi, welcome to episode 4 of the Milk Bottle Shopify e-commerce podcast. Today we talk to Stine of Vallerret Photography Gloves. Based in Norway, Stine and her team ship across the world on multiple Shopify stores with warehouses in Norway, Europe and the US. They say that some of the best business ideas come from business concepts that solve very simple problems, and this is certainly the case with Vallerret Photography Gloves. Stine, originally from Denmark, and her business partner Carl, originally from New Zealand, set up Vallerret in 2014. They design, create and ship products that solve a very simple problem. When you're out and about in cold climates taking photographs, the gloves keep your hands warm so you can control your camera. It's a really insightful interview. Stine shares how she came up with the idea, how they ship the product on the Shopify platform, shares her experience migrating from WordPress across to Shopify, and also shares some really insightful views on using the Shopify platform daily. I have to say, I really enjoyed this interview, and I hope you do too. So let's kick off. So Stine, thank you very much for joining us today. Where are you based?
Thanks so much, Keith. It's a pleasure to be with you. We are based in Norway, so it's a great white season for us up here.
And you know, in Dublin, it's getting really cold. We're in the depths of the winter, heading towards Christmas. So your climate, is it cold for 6 months of the year, or do you have a winter the same as everybody else and a summer? What sort of a climate goes on over there?
Well, we do have a winter and a summer, and we have fall and spring as well. But the winter is definitely longer. So I'd say we have snow from November till April, and then but you can ski all year. It's all about where you go and how high you get. If you're deep in the mountains and you're in the valley, but it's nice here. Norway's long as well, so you can go all the way to the top into the Arctic, or you can stay down where I am in Voss, which is more like similar climate to where you're used to, just a little more snow, I guess.
Very good. So Stine, I'm fascinated by your story and by your product, and I'm delighted to have the opportunity to be able to share it with people. We migrated you guys over to Shopify, I think it was mid-year. In our interactions, I was kind of fascinated by the product that you've created and how you came about it. So just explain to everybody what the Vallerret Photography Glove does.
Oh, thanks so much, Keith. It's so nice to hear that other people take interest in what you do. So our gloves we make photography gloves. So basically our gloves help photographers to have long and comfortable photo shoots in winter, because when you're a photographer, you go out and it's beautiful, it's crisp and frosty outside. You go out there, and then if you wear the regular gloves with your camera, it's just really hard for you to operate your dials and your buttons and to adjust the settings when you're out there. So it's really frustrating as a photographer that you have to sometimes take your gloves off. So our gloves resolves that problem for our photographers. They all have like a little flip take opening, so you can poke out your fingertips and adjust your camera without getting frozen hands. So that's what we design our gloves for, to have that functionality that you can operate your camera even though it's cold, so you don't need to take off your gloves and freeze. So that was the whole idea. Carl and I we love winter. We're not Norwegian, actually. I'm Danish, and Carl is my business partner is from New Zealand, but we are now in Norway just because we love the frost. We just love having fun in winter, and it's a great place to be. So traveling from one winter destination to another, like from Alaska to Arctic Sweden to New Zealand to here, we just had that problem ourselves for a while, that we just got really frozen hands, and we were out there, and we had some friends also that were photographers and looking for like a photography gloves that would kind of fit their image and their like taste, I guess. So we thought, maybe there's a business opportunity there. So we just looked more into it, because what we would like to see was a glove that was kind of fashionable, that would be more like taking that fashion element from the ski industry and into a functional glove. Because there are other photography gloves out there, and we're not the first ones by far, but they are, well, they focus a lot on functionalities, let's put it that way. So we're kind of missing that fashionable element that we then take from the ski industry, saying, how can we make some functional gloves for photographers that actually look really sweet?
Very good. So Stine, it was a classic case of you guys coming across a problem and you decided to act on it. Like, you actually sat down and you knew exactly what you needed, and you actually went and designed the glove and found, did you find a design team, or, how did you go about actually physically creating it? I mean, I'm assuming that you needed the help of a designer and a producer, and you needed to source materials, or is there facilities elsewhere to get all of that?
Well, Carl and I, from the get-go, we wanted to start a business. So we started brainstorming about what are our own competencies, what are our skill set, and what could we do? Where do we see a market? So we took that idea of making photography gloves and we went a little analytical on it, and analyzing what we could do and what we could do with a concept like photography gloves, we came across that Carl he's an educated landscape architect, actually. So from his degree, he has a lot of design skills. So he's a strong designer. So he has designed and still designs all our gloves from scratch. And I have background in marketing and passion for digital marketing. So we saw that with those two like legs combined, we could have a strong digital presence and create a product that was, good enough to get out there. So so Carl is actually, we have never outsourced the design process. It's in-house.
That's brilliant. So, and you sell, like, I suppose the other thing that I noticed when I was working with you, that it's clearly a niche. So It's interesting. If you read a lot of entrepreneurial books or you read blogs, I mean, many advisors and consultants will suggest to you that you focus on a niche and you become an expert in that area. And clearly, that's exactly what you've done. Yeah,
exactly. Admittedly, we've listened to a lot of podcasts, a lot of business entrepreneur stuff, and just kind of took those points, because I do feel that that's a great idea if you want to start out to focus on something. Because what we get with our product is that we often get the feedback that, you could use your gloves for this, or you could use your gloves for this. Like, a lot of people want to take them like fishing or shooting and like hunting, or they want to take them paragliding, and that's great. And that functionality is great to use within other niches. But because we, for the marketing purpose, focused only on photographers, I think we got like a leg up, because we're talking directly to the photographer and not a lot of other people.
And Stine, would it be correct to say that you're also dealing with a vertical and a kind of a demographic of customer that have money to spend, they do their research, and they probably have no problem in terms of your price of your product? You're probably dealing with a customer that fully appreciates the effort, and they don't have a problem paying a premium for an authentic product. Would that be correct? That
is absolutely correct. We the photographer market is they're ready to spend. They have money in their pocket, and many of them are passionate hobbyists. So when you bought a camera for £1,000, it's fine to put a little extra on the table to get the gloves that suit you. And so they're definitely a target group that's ready to spend and used to spending. So we thought it would be great to make a premium product for them, like something that would be durable, that was actually well thought through exactly for them, and not just any other functional glove. So that is That is our target group. And they're also very detail-oriented in terms of critique and feedback and all that. And it can be sometimes a challenge to work with, but it's also very valuable to get that detailed feedback on every single little feature of our product.
Yeah, and I've noticed reading through the reviews on the site, some of the reviews are very detailed. So it's very clear that, just as you said, that even your customers have a fairly high attention to detail. I'm intrigued as to where the products are going, Stine. So are you basically selling to all over the world? Where's your biggest market?
Well, we have 3 different web shops, one catering for the Norwegian market, one we've set up in Holland that caters for the European market in general and the global market. And then we have one in US and USA, and that caters primarily for America only. And right now we are somewhat, the European store and the US market store are kind of 50-50 of our market. Our Norwegian market is very small, but it's still like compared to the other 2. But we've also from get-go just focused globally. So we wanted to take this niche to the global market. And even though we started everything here in Norway and we use them every day here in Norway, the market potential is really globally for such a niche.
You have 2 of those Shopify stores plugged into fulfillment centers. Is that correct?
That is correct. That is correct. So they're plugged in and pretty much take care of themselves. And then we fulfill the Norwegian one here from Norway.
Very good. Okay. So Stine, we spoke earlier on in the year and you were previously using WordPress. So obviously this is, look, we're a Shopify agency and I'm interested in listening and sharing your experience on the move over. When you look back over the last, 6 to 9 months, overall, the migration to Shopify, has it been a positive experience?
It has been. I would say as any change, it can be different or difficult to get used to new ways of doing things. But overall, it has been a positive experience. I'm very happy where I am right now with solid shopping carts and solid websites, and it's going, and it's I can get help when I want to, and I'm really happy. We got what we asked for, and I'm delighted that we ended up here. Yeah.
But you've had no major outages or no major stoppages since you started. Sure, you haven't. The biggest fear that a lot of clients have that are using, other platforms is that when they do move over, that, it'll shut down or it won't say what it does on the tin, or there's, unknown issues. You haven't had really that many. I mean, you've had no outages, so you haven't had many blockages in any way, have you?
No, I've had 0 blockages. It's only been like small design things. So you're like, oh, I really like this old feature I had. And then we've adjusted that and as you get on. But no blockages at all. Like all the functionalities I have with WooCommerce are available in Shopify. It's more about changing your mindset we use WooCommerce and WordPress before and enjoyed the market space of just the open source market of plugins and free everything. And in Shopify, you have to take you have to follow how things go and then sign up to the services that you need for your shop.
Yeah. And of course, as considering that you're running 3 stores, you've got, if you want to install a certain application across all of the stores, you've got triple the cost as well, of course.
Yeah, exactly. So we went from a multi-store setup in WooCommerce. So it was one installation, which was for some things really great because everything was just one dashboard. I could easily just swap between my shops and all that and carry copy over information and all that. So now with Shopify and this, you might have some more information on Multistore release, Keith, but as it is right now, there are no Multistore options, so we'd had to separate things completely.
The Shopify recently launched multi-location inventory for multiple warehouses, and they've also launched multi-currency on the Shopify Plus platform.
Yeah, okay.
So it's getting there. It's on the way. I suppose the only saving grace is the fact that thankfully, Shopify, even though you have to log into separate stores, at least Shopify is relatively easy to make changes and to view everything even through the mobile app. So there is, although it's not perfect, it's certainly manageable. We do have quite a few clients that are running 2 to 3 stores for the very same reason as yourself.
Yeah, and for the user friendliness of it, it's fine. It's more when it comes down to the cost side of it, because you do have to triple your app spend and all that. Like if you want to use one app and you need to pay for the subscription in not one store, but then 3 stores. And then like that, it just becomes a financial consideration.
Yeah, one word of advice that I'd give you, and also to the listeners of the podcast, is that if at any occasion you're ever installing an app in multiple stores, the app developer will, if you reach out to them, will generally at least, consider some sort of a discount if you're putting three in instead of one. One of the wonderful things about the Shopify community, especially the app development community, is that they're always very open and trusted and easily contactable, and they're always open to persuasion. If you're going to become a long-term customer, the majority of the app developers that we've dealt with will pass on some sort of a discount.
Oh, that's amazing to hear. Maybe I should get on the email after this call.
It's worth a try, because the app developers will understand why you have those 3 stores, plugged into different fulfillment centers, selling on different currencies. So they understand, and they deal with the challenges of Shopify and the challenges of every platform has a challenge, I guess. So if you were to take one thing away from this conversation, that might be worth considering.
Yeah.
Stine, one of the other things which I think you've done really, really well is the distribution and production of original organic content. You have your ambassadors, and then you have, obviously you're very busy on your blog. I'm interested to how much time do you invest in that content production? Is it done in-house? Do you have somebody to help? Do your ambassadors create content? How do you manage the outbound flow of original content? Well,
we actually have hired someone to do everything in that area for us. So we have now a new girl on the team, Erica Clapp, and she is our social media manager. She manages the blog and our ambassador program. So so I would say in that way, we do invest in it. And she, it's not all the content that we send out is not ours that we produced ourselves, but it is from ambassadors or people who want to do collaborations and all that. So not every blog post is written by Erica, but she kind of manages that whole flow. But we really value and invest in that, because we feel like that is where we can put something to the table. And it's also a great tool for just activating that network you have. Maybe it's the business network, but it could also be the consumer engagement and all that. So we're constantly trying to improve that, just content creation.
Obviously, social is very, very important to you. I mean, your product is very visual, so you're busy on Instagram and you're busy on Facebook. Have you had much success with PPC and online advertising on Google?
Well, what is success these days? We're definitely testing out new things all the time, trying to optimize and all that. And but I think that we do get a lot of traffic and we do get a lot of sales through different campaigns. And it's hard to really. Of course, you got your data showing you if you're doing well, but. Yeah. Facebook advertising and Instagram, that's a whole other concept. We could talk for hours about how to adjust that and how to make it even more profitable. But I think it's important to have the paid leg in your marketing in these days as well, like just to make sure you get shown on your organic channels, for instance. Yeah. But we do a lot of organic content creation, and we just found that the collaborations we have there with our ambassadors just go so much further than what we can pay for, actually. It's a way better return on investment to have some great ambassadors out there speaking for us. And so we invest a lot in that and spend a lot of time on nurturing those relationships.
So Stine, the ambassadors are they professional photographers that have the same interest as you, and then they share your content?
Yes, I would say that all of them are full-time photographers, and then many of them have YouTube channels and doing other things. And then we have another tier of collaborators that are just one-time collaborators or just only writing some blogs for us that wouldn't necessarily qualify as ambassadors. So we have like we have many different tiers of collaborations where the ambassadors are mostly the ones that we kind of consider our face out there. So we now know them well, yeah.
A lot of clients that we work with in Ireland, they start off as being, online only. But I've noticed that you actually you've got the product in some retail outlets across the world. Is that something that you guys are planning to grow, or is that something that just happened by accident?
Oh, it kind of happened by accident. We wanted to, in the beginning, only be online. But then B&H Photo reached out from the US, and they're this gigantic platform that everybody in the US wants to buy from. And then we're like, oh, maybe we should go down this road. But we have in our business plan that over a few years, we should try to explore that channel more. But so we have like two legs now. I think we're roughly doing 50-50, like so 50 retail and 50 online sales, which I think is a great balance for us as well. So I think we're going to keep that and just keep exploring a little bit the retail side, but it still has to make sense financially because there are other costs involved, and obviously they get a different price, and we can sell our products at full price with us. So it's finding that balance of where you want to be, and so far I think it's pretty good. Like we have a few very carefully selected retailers around the world, and let's see what happens in the future.
Your sales go up, but of course you're giving away some of your margins, so sometimes it doesn't make sense. Exactly.
Like we're currently figuring out whether or not to go into the Canadian market, for instance, and you have to do a lot of calculations. Is it then worth your while? And where I think as for this year, we will focus on, we just joined Amazon in US, so we're going to focus on building that channel for us. So we'll see.
Good. It's funny that you mentioned B&H Photo. I bought a camera there.
Yeah, I bet you did.
They have a shop in New York. I can't quite remember what street it's on.
Yeah.
But I have never, ever seen a camera store as large or busy. There was multiple floors. And if I remember correctly, they were fulfilling their online store from the same shop. So they had an elevator system whereby somebody was packing the boxes for the online orders, but it was all being run through the store. So as you were walking through the store, you could see all of these products just going down, being moved across different areas to be packed.
Oh, really?
It was an amazing experience. They are a phenomenal business.
They are massive. That's when you deal with big retailers like that, you're just a number in the spreadsheet, which is unusual for us to be a small company and then dealing with a giant like that. Where we're used to having quite friendly conversations with retailers and all that, but massive companies like B&H, it's just send an Excel sheet with your glove catalog, for instance, and they don't want to look at some fancy flyer that we made, where they would just want the Excel sheet.
It's it's funny too. Just to go back to what we discussed earlier on, I mean, they focused on a niche. They just started out selling cameras, and now they've moved into audio, computers, lighting, everything. So, and of course, they've mastered the area of online. They've done really, really well. Stine, do you use the Shopify mobile app? Is that the main way you stay on top of your sales and your store success?
No, I usually access it on desktop, but I do use the app as well, like when I'm on the go. But I'm so often by my computer needing to update something or look at orders. So I usually you work with Shopify on my desktop, but I have the app as well.
You're running multiple stores and you're running a very, very successful business on a wonderful platform. So what do you really, really like about Shopify?
I have come to love a few features of Shopify. I just love the dashboard, like just the way that you can, we have these monthly meetings where we sit down and assess all our key performance indicators. And with WooCommerce, it used to take me hours to find out our exact conversion rate and to find out where top referrals, all that stuff. And now with Shopify, it's just ta-da! In each dashboard of my 3 different sites, I literally just take a screenshot and then we talk about it. So that's amazing. And what I really like as well is that you can build, like for instance, for Christmas, you can build if you we're preparing a Christmas sale, you can work on that Christmas sale front page. You don't have to work in a live environment, I think is the right way to put it. So you can actually update your site in a copy of your site and just publish it when you're ready. Like those 2 things I think are just brilliant. And then there are also just the ease of using the apps, like that they're just so well integrated. I was so surprised when I'm using, what is the Judge Me reviews.
The reviews app.
Yeah. And previously, even though I had a Multistore set up, I could not transfer reviews from one shop to the other. But here it integrates it. So my reviews from my US site are shown in my EU store, which is just fantastic because then I can get that, what do you call that? Other people vouching for my product across countries, which is great.
The social proof is built across all of the stores, which is great. So your review numbers then on every store is going to be higher. Yeah,
exactly. Like they're actually, and I'm just so happy that I finally have a web shop system that I trust, because that was the thing about WooCommerce. It crashed now and again. And even though I work a lot with web and data and stuff like that, I wasn't able to fix that. So then I needed developers to come in, and we were so fragile. But now it's like I can get help instantly if there's anything. There hasn't been an error yet, but it could be. It just makes me secure, so I don't need to worry about it when it's peak season.
Yeah, what it does is it builds confidence, because one of the things you just don't have to worry about is the actual technology. It's interesting the comment you made about the dashboard.
Yeah.
Because really what it does is it just reduces the need for PowerPoint.
Yeah. And it also... Yeah, because it says it even tells you like what if I take the report from this month, it compares automatically to last month, so we can see instantly at a glance like what has it gone up, has it gone down, what's happened here, which is awesome.
The other thing they've really recently done is they've added the field to put the cost price of the product in as well.
Yeah.
So if you want to manipulate that data, of course, you can just export it into Excel and just do a quick, margin analysis. We have migrated quite a few customers over who never fully understood exactly what their margin was and never fully understood what their conversion rate was. So, that's why, I suppose, as a Shopify expert, we believe it's a game changer for a lot of people on legacy platforms.
Yeah, I really think it is for that shopping cart experience as well. We actually have a lot more mobile sales this year than last year, and it could have something to do with how the shopping cart just works on mobile with Shopify. But it's one factor at least to consider, and I do think it plays a part.
And Stine, the Pay by PayPal button is very prominent on your design and your current Turbo theme. A couple of years ago, we would have thought that PayPal payments were actually declining. But do you still get a lot of payments through PayPal? Yeah,
50%, I'd say. People are very used to it. Like they like checking out on PayPal. So
yes.
Yeah. I think it's paid 50%. I'll have to check my numbers again, but it's up there.
I wouldn't say it's quite 50% with most of the stores that we're in and that we work with, but certainly at a minimum it's 25-30%, especially in the UK. PayPal is very prominent in the UK, probably driven by the fact that eBay is around quite a long time. So to have an eBay account, you have to have a PayPal account. So
we have more than 25%, that's for sure. But whether it's 40 or 50% that checks out there, that could be specific to our niche, but who knows?
With every platform, there's limitations. So if you were to pick out, one major limitation or struggle that you have with Shopify, what would it be?
I would say the blog section. We have we use our blog a lot. We have a strong blog presence, and it's an important leg in our business and building collaborations and networks. Just the interface Shopify offers is very limited, to say the least, where compared to the WooCommerce WordPress system I was using before, you had all these features to upload images and make carousels and make it a very nice looking page, where in Shopify, you actually need to code all that yourself if you want to go beyond just inserting an image, which has been challenging, but we found ways around it. But it's a little surprising that there aren't any apps out there that can help you get more functionality. So put some short codes in to help you have a stronger blog presence. So I would say the blog side of things, that's definitely some workarounds there.
Right. So Stine, there's a very successful app called the Shogun App.
Oh yeah, okay.
The Shopify recently had some events on in New York and the UK and Berlin and in India and Australia, and it was the Shogun guys were involved in the promotion of it, and they displayed their wares, as they say, at all of those events, and it's worth looking at, and that's exactly what it is. It's a page builder.
Okay, cool.
That's worth looking at. That might actually solve your problem.
Yeah, I've tried to search for it in the App Store, but maybe I haven't searched for the right keywords or something. Shogun. I'll check it out.
So Stine, look, thank you very, very much for joining us today.
You're very welcome.
An interesting conversation. I'm just amazed sometimes at what people sell in Shopify, and thank you very, very much for your time.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for helping us out with the migration to Shopify. It's been a smooth ride.
Thank you, Stine. Thank you. Thanks for taking the time to listen to episode 4 of the Milk Bottle Shopify e-commerce podcast. All of our podcasts are available on iTunes and Spotify. Until next time, have a great day.